I think we're live.
We're alive.
Looks like it. Looks like it worked that time.
Kristen
Hi,
says we're live.
Kristen. We're
All right,
live,
so
guys.
my name is John Doolin. I am here with two of the most energetic LinkedIn voices I have had the privilege of meeting, Samantha Sierra and Trevor Martin. And before we get rolling, just want to do some quick introductions to those who don't know who we are. Um, I am a logistics professional who has found a passion in motivating others and just trying to be a better human. I stumbled upon Samantha's page a few months back, sent a follow her way, and I was in Raleigh, North Carolina when I stumbled on Trevor's page. And the energy that comes out of these two, you are in for one heck of a show tonight. Even if you have previously tuned into Samantha, the two of these folks together are going to give you some pretty cool stories and some awesome energy. Samantha, I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself and tell your story to those who don't know you.
Yeah, sure. My name is Samantha Sierra. I go by Sam. So I am a former teen mom, and before becoming a teen mom, I had experienced a lot of trauma, and I was in a really dark place for a really long time, and I got out of it. I'm not in it anymore. And because of the work that I put in and myself and mentors that I've had and great leaders, I decided now it's time to be that light for other people and help lift people out of the darkness and show them the light and, just make people kind of lead their lives, right? So that's what I'm all about. I just want to spread joy and happiness.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Samantha. So, Trevor, if you could tell us a little bit about your warrior spirit.
Yeah, sure. So my name's Trevor Martin. Um, my story, I guess, would probably be a little bit, similar to Samantha's. Childhood raised in a very, very strict home, religious home. Wasn't ready for the exposure to the real world when I entered, high school. Raised in a Christian academy from a young age, and the world kind of caught me off guard. So I was exposed to a lot of bullying, and that kind of progressed throughout, throughout my early years. And I realized at a very, very young age that if somebody was going to make a change in my world, it was going to be me. I had to face the facts that I didn't like it, and I was going to do everything that I could in my power, to change my surroundings, to change my world. So I started building, I started going, I started doing, I started forging ahead, and that's what I'm all about. That's where the warrior spirit comes from. And today, I enjoy helping leaders, entrepreneurs, others embrace that spirit and embrace that energy and understand that all they need to do is, put their head down and get to it.
That's awesome. So we've all met on LinkedIn. We've never met in person. We don't know each other. And quite frankly, prior to probably 4 months ago, we were complete strangers to each other. So, Samantha, I'm curious, and I think others are curious. Can you tell us about your LinkedIn journey from where you started to where you are today?
Yeah. So I started LinkedIn like a lot of people years ago. I actually started back in 2020 after a friend of mine was like, "Oh my God, I got this great job. I didn't really have to do anything. My resume was just on LinkedIn." I'm like, "What am I doing wrong? Like, I need to create a LinkedIn." So I created a LinkedIn and kind of just let it sit. And I didn't do anything with it. And then I decided that I was going to enroll back in school and I was going to finish my college degree and earn my bachelor's in operations management. And one of the classes I needed to take was marketing, like marketing 101. And they talked about creating a LinkedIn page and putting yourself out there and building a brand, yada, yada, yada. So I was like, okay, let's try this. So I went on and I was posting was like, oh, I'm getting my bachelor's, operations management, blah, blah, blah. I was very like super professional, like what I imagined LinkedIn was supposed to be. And
Mhm.
hated it. So I stopped. And I was going through classes and another professor mentioned being on LinkedIn and like putting your profile out there and blah blah blah. And I was like, all right, let me try this, but I'm not gonna do this the way that I expect it to be or the way that like people view it. I'm gonna do LinkedIn my way. I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna be myself and see what happens. Um, so I did that and I started really giving LinkedIn a go my way in August of last year. And since then, I have met such incredible people and have learned
Reach.
so much and have grown. And like, it's such an amazing experience to be on this platform. And so when I first started, I came on to build a name for myself so that eventually when I'm done with my degree, I would be able to leverage my network and be able to get a great job. My views have changed drastically. My like it sounds so cliche and but I say it all the time like LinkedIn has helped me find my purpose. Like I'm supposed to use my voice and share and lift people up and show people who are still in the dark that the light is there as long as you just like Trevor was saying, put in the work and go for it. So
Let's do it.
here I am, like a couple months later and just doing.
I love that, and that is one of the first things. And I don't know if you remember this, Samantha, but that's actually one of the first messages I sent you was I love your energy because uh, I don't care how many people say it, and I've gotten some of the hate mail because I've shared things that people say that shouldn't be on LinkedIn. But
Mhm.
here's what I can tell you: when I share stories about life, when I share stories about the human experience, my numbers go through the roof. So
Mhm.
LinkedIn might be a professional network, but the professionals that are on LinkedIn are also human and they love the
Right
human
on.
interest content. And that's works out for me because I love sharing stories. So thank you, Samantha. I appreciate you sharing that story. And Trevor, same question to you. Tell us your journey.
So once again, my journey is not too far off of Samantha's. So I also help a large construction company in the Midwest with training and development. So my LinkedIn journey really started there in kind of growing connections with other leaders in the industry. And one of the things I found out in this journey is that I loved going out into the field. I loved promoting the people that I was working with, not only promoting what they did in the field, but promoting who they are and what they represented. Right. The smiles, the laughter, the passion for the jobs completed and the work that was being done. And I realized as I kept going, I'm like, well, man, I feed off of this. Like this feeds me. Like this makes I'm growing. Holy cow! This is what I like. This is what I really enjoy doing. And so it started to grow to the point where I thought, all right, you know what, I'm gonna take a step. I'm gonna take a step over here, and that is what I'm really truly gonna focus on. Not just with with the company that I was helping, but with everyone, and reaching out and saying, look, hey, I want to celebrate people in general. I want to celebrate and help people understand that if you want the next level, you can get to the next level because it's in here. The power's within. All you have to do is ignite it, right? Find it and ignite it and let's go.
Crank it up.
Yeah, it's that easy. So that's, and once that started clicking, I started to realize through the growth that, okay, I might be getting a little bit more comfortable with this. Maybe I'll start to peel back some layers of my own and get a little more intimate, get a little more personal, and share my side of who I am and what what I represent and what I believe in. And since then, that was a little tough for me. I'm going to be honest. I'm not that. I'm more of a rough and tumble kind of guy. You know what I mean? So it was it was a little that was a little bit hard. But once you started to do that, to John's point earlier, boom, connections, right? People want to hear about hope. They want to know that they can do great things. So that's my story.
Thanks, Trevor. I appreciate that. I'm going to come back to that warrior spirit in a little bit. Um, Samantha, you said something that I want to transition into. You told Trevor to crank it up, and
Crank it up.
so
Level 21.
In no particular order, whatever order you feel like, I would like you to talk about some of the products that you have on LinkedIn, because you have a newsletter, you have a show. In fact, you have two shows. And
Look at
I,
you.
what I'd like to do for those who
I'm a
don't
mover and a
know,
shaker. I like to have all the irons in the fire.
so I'd like you to talk about those a little bit, because as I'm watching these comments come through, I'm seeing some new names that I haven't seen commenting on some of your stuff. And I think there's some folks that are watching who don't know about some of these. And I think they're particularly cool. So I'll shut up if you wouldn't mind just talking about some of these for a minute.
Yeah, so I'll just start from the progression, right? So back in October, a couple of my connections had put out newsletters, and they were talking about project management, and it was like every 2 weeks, one John Connolly and Logan Langan. And they were pumping out these things. And I do on Tuesdays, I do this 2 cents Tuesday thing where like I just choose a random topic and, shoot my 2 cents off, whatever. People pay attention. Sometimes they don't, whatever. But I'm a daddy's girl, like hardcore. My dad is my world. And I always wanted to talk about the lessons that he had imparted on me growing up. There's just not enough space in the character limit to be able to do that. So when I had started seeing them put out these newsletters, I was like, wait, I think I might be able to do something like that. So I reached out to Logan and I'm like, so what do you think about me doing a newsletter? He's like, do it. I'm like, I don't even have 300 connections yet or 300 followers. He's like, so you could have 10,000 eyeballs on it. Who cares? Just do it. I'm like, you're right. So I started my lessons from dad, and I wanted to do it in a way where I kind of suck people in. So I tell a story about my childhood and like the things that happen, and whatever lesson that I derived from it. And then I tie it back to business and how I apply it in the business world. So like one of the things was be a good role model. Obviously, that's a very easy transition to be a leader,
For sure.
It's
Yeah.
about doing what's right and and being an example for others. And that's what leadership for me is.
Preach.
Yeah, so yeah. And from there, I was on a show with another lady who was doing audio events, and she has an amazing platform. It's just not one that I wanted to stand on. I didn't feel like it was my voice. And I was talking to another connection of mine, and he was like, so just do your own. And I was like, who would show up for audio events for me? Like, I don't even have that many people. Turns out when you are authentic and you put yourself out there, like I say it all the time, find your people, like your people will find you. So
Yep.
I found my people and they come and they support. I mean, look at all these people in the comments supporting. So I started it's called Connecting Connections. I do it almost every Saturday since October. And I've had really incredible conversations on them. One of the conversations was with Jeremiah Hammond. And when we talked, it was just like, I could have talked to him for so much longer. And I know that people were captivated and I know that people wanted to hear more. And like, I want to say like a couple days later, I was like, okay, guys, in Linky Land, what should my new endeavor be? Like, should I do a podcast? Should I do video, like video live events, or should I just keep doing what I'm doing? And they were like, video, video. So when that poll had finished, I think it was like the next day or two, I hit up Jeremiah and I was like, so what do you think about joining up and doing some live stuff? And that was it. And then that was back in December. And Brooke is his incredible wife. She is so much support in this crank up the leadership thing. It's not even funny. But the three of us kind of combined, did what we needed to do. We came up with a name, we came up with graphics, we do frameworks, we do all of these things to try to bring as much value to people as possible. And then because Jeremiah is in the PMI, the Project Management Institute, and we're giving people tangible, actionable leadership skills and advice and tips and stuff. Project managers can actually earn a PDU just from like attending our shows and listening and paying attention. And then we have tools and we put tools out, and it's absolutely incredible. And like our vision is to take it so far. And I know that having the team that we have, it's like we're shooting for the moon. Even if we miss, we're going to land in the stars.
So I'm glad that you mentioned that, Samantha, about the PDU, because when I tuned in, I think it was 2 weeks ago. It could have been longer. I lose track of time, but that was one of the things that stood out to me. I thought, this is a great group of folks who are not just jumping on social media screaming, "Hey, look at me, look at me." Mm-hmm. This is a group of folks who said, "How can we make a difference? How can we help people?" And that is really cool, because in today's selfie society, it's all about how can I get more likes, how can I get more this or that. And so that was cool. The other thing that I think is just super cool that both of you have in common, your tribe is loyal. Mm-hmm. I love the engagement that the two of you bring, because there are the super users out there who have hundreds of thousands of followers, and if you look at the stats when they post something, you'll see they get 100 likes on something and like 20 comments. The other night, Samantha didn't even go live, just posted a damn video, and within like 40 minutes, I'm like, I wonder how well this is doing, and I look at it and there's over 100 comments, and I'm like, oh. Certainly that's just like replies and stuff. And no, it wasn't. I went through, I'm like, wow. It was amazing how many people just jumped on it. And
oh, yeah.
I know you think we're smart as you, Samantha, with your little Easter eggs. We're not that smart. And so
Kristen figured it out.
She's pretty smart.
She is.
So anyway, I think that's neat, and I want to say thank you. And before I get too distracted, because I've got absolute ADHD, I would like to say to all of the folks who are tuned in, watching this, making comments. I can speak for the three of us when I can say we are the most connecting group of people that you're ever going to meet. Follow us, make a connection, send a message, whatever you want. Let's bring this powerhouse together and support each other. Trevor, I want to go back to your warrior comment, and I'm going to definitely let the cat out of the bag at how old I am when I tell this story. But I told Trevor this the other day. I can't read his posts without hearing them in the voice of the Ultimate Warrior. And for those of you who remember the Ultimate Warrior from the 80s or the 90s, I know you're with me on that. Trevor, you have a series that this is what pulled me in to your profile. Somebody that we're mutually connected with commented on one of your posts, which caused me to click on it, and it was your bully series. And it took me all the way back to high school. And several of your stories have actually done this. The way you tell the story just pulls me in. If you don't know who Trevor is, go look at his profile. The way he tells a story, it will drop a tear or two from time to time when you read some of his stories. But Trevor, if you don't mind, as much as you're comfortable sharing, would you mind talking a little bit about the Bully series, where it came from, what you've shared so far, and where is it going?
Yeah, sure. Appreciate that, John. And I keep to go back to your uh Ultimate Warrior thing. That's hasn't left my brain yet. So I'm starting to read my own stuff in that voice. So maybe it's helping. I don't know. We'll see. So the Bully series, yeah, that's straight from my heart. When I say I can't stand a bully, I really can't stand a bully. Because of the things that I've experienced. So that started. I mean, there was some in in my childhood and things like that, but mainly in high school. In high school, man, you want to talk about rocky road. That was one. That was hell. There's no other really word any other word to describe it. Um, so when I was going through that whole peel back Trevor, right, and let some of me out into the LinkedIn world, I kind of started with that because I also noticed that online there's a lot of bullying, right? There's a bullying on LinkedIn, there's bullying all over social media, people ripping each other apart, tearing each other down for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
Mhm.
And so I thought, all right, I'm going to start writing about some stories and things that I experienced in high school. And the one I dropped today, that was pretty tough. That was tough to write because when you drop things like that, no matter, I'm 42 years old, right? So but my 42-year-old me just goes right back into high school, and I'm sitting at that cafeteria table and I'm opening that carton of milk, and I'm so excited that chocolate milk opened up the way it's supposed to, and I'm getting ready to take a drink, and I'm so excited about that drink, and then I get a forearm in the back of my head into the chocolate milk, and it goes all over, and it's Kevin, it's the bully, and he's not done, and he's just getting started, and he was just getting started. When I post about that stuff, I'm not gonna lie, I feel it. I mean, it's almost uh it takes you back really.
Re-traumatizing?
Yes, it takes you back really, really quick, right?
Yeah.
And so then the me now wants to be like, oh yeah, what's it? Try that
Let's
now,
go.
Evan. Yeah, let's go. Right? I'm two right in the kisser. So it's where it's been is just kind of opening up and showing people, hey, this is the things I've experienced, and also letting people that are going through that right now understand that, hey, you don't have stand up for yourself, say something. You don't have to put up with it, so don't end it. Where it's going, John, I don't know. There's a whole lot more to tell. And it's a process for me. So as soon as I get comfortable with the next thing, then I'll drop it, right? You can see it's spaced out, but it all comes from the inner warrior that I wish. I'll be honest, I wish I had ignited it in high school. I really, really do.
You know, Trevor, it's interesting. Lisa Morgan just commented, and this is something I think you should consider. Lisa Morgan's comment was, to the where are you going with it? Her comment was to the stage. And, I don't know if you still live in the same community that you grew up in, but your story, your success story, could be one that little Trevor in ninth grade needs to hear. And I did not live much of a different life, and I hated high school. I could not wait to get out of high school. So much so I joined the army so that I can get out of there. But what I tell my kids every day is high school is such a small part of your life, but when
Mhm.
you're there, it's everything. You think the
Amen.
entire world. So,
Yeah.
I think that your story, could have a lot of value to this generation. And the kids today are so much smarter than we were. They have access to so much stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So true.
so Trevor, if I can motivate you in any way, my motivation would be go to your next Board of Education meeting, tell your story, and ask them how you can help. Because I don't know a school district anywhere that's not dealing with a bully problem. I know a lot of school districts don't want to admit they have a bully problem, but it exists. It's always existed. It will always exist. But to your point, one of the things I love about LinkedIn is the anti-bully culture that exists. And
Yeah.
it's been pointed out many times that um, when crazy things are said or done, the community comes to the rescue. And what is interesting is, at least in the circles that I roam in, when someone does post something aggravating out there, it doesn't. It's usually not even the main poster who has to defend
Mhm.
themselves. Usually, it's everybody else. It's your tribes that jump in.
Yeah.
So,
And
thank.
sorry, before we
Yeah.
move on to that, Trevor, I am at the point um, in my life now where my life is just my life, right? Like
Right.
I've been through stuff and I just continue to go because it's my life. So for me, it's not extraordinary. It just is. Um, but I had a couple of connections point out the fact that I haven't lived a normal life. I have an extraordinary story, and it's a story that I want to share because I know the power that it can bring. I know the inspiration that is there.
Yes.
Um, I am trying to figure out what that looks like.
Yeah.
I am trying to figure out how much do I share, how much is just for me, that things will, I'll never tell some parts of my story. So
Same.
I totally get where you're coming from, where like when you go and you post, like you're really pulling back and you're peeling the onion, right? And
Yeah.
you're getting all the layers and you're going down into your core, and then you're exposing that. And kudos to you, because it's difficult to find that place and to be able to process it, and to process it on a stage where people are now processing it and talking to you about it. And I don't know if you've received any negativity on it. I doubt that you would receive negativity on it, but it's social media. People can be jerks sometimes. So I just I'm in the same boat. I feel you.
Right.
Yeah, it's what I love about both of you is the what I've taken away from our other conversations is that you're both willing to acknowledge the baggage of the past. But
Oh
what I
yeah.
love is your attitude that that doesn't determine where I'm going tomorrow. It does not define who I am.
Ever.
And I love that.
Master
Right.
Shifu said it the best. Yesterday is a history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is present.
I was waiting for another rhyme there.
Today is a gift. That's why. Oh, well, I mean, I'm not going to spit rhymes. I'm not going to spit bars for you guys today.
So, Trevor, in the comments, Michelle Waldron suggests that you write a book. Um, and
That's
so,
actually that's actually I've already started that on chapter 3.
awesome.
So
Good to
so
hear.
we're working on it.
Well, we're now going to hold you accountable to get that done.
Please do. Please
All
do.
right.
Do
But
Okay.
it.
hey, I wanted to say something real quick about when we talk about our past, right? I wrote something to a friend today, and we carry the scars, right? You can see the scars from our past, right? They're all over. They're evident, and
Mhm.
that it innately becomes a part of us. It's a part, but it doesn't define. It's a part of us, but it's not the whole. It's not who we are. So it might be there, while it might be present, and there's signs of it, that's not the entirety. The entirety is what we choose it to be. So if you want it to be the scars, if you choose it to be like, oh man, that's what I'm gonna focus on, then that's what it's gonna be. But let me tell you, if you get past it, John, we talked about this. We've talked about, I'm gonna bury it and I'm gonna put the shovel under concrete, and it's done, and I'm moving forward and I'm forging ahead. Then trust me, you're unstoppable. That's
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. So I would just like to point out, we've talked about some heavy stuff, we've talked about some light stuff, and I can't get the smile off my face. I would like to just point out to everybody who's watching, Sam has some silly friends, and they are posting some stuff in comments, and I am trying to keep a straight
Sam only
face.
rhymes with dollar.
I'm trying to keep my facial expressions neutral, but it's very difficult.
You're doing great.
So I'm not being insensitive to the stories. I respect them. So on a bit of a lighter note, I do want to say very quickly, you can obviously find Trevor and Sam's information, how to follow them, how to connect with them on LinkedIn or wherever you're watching this. You can find their information connected with that. And we've all shared this on our LinkedIn profile, so you can find it there too. So I won't waste a lot of time on that. But I do want to pivot just a little bit and have a little bit of fun with this. So, Sam, the question for you is you're going to pop back into modern day version of Sam is going to pop into 10-year-old version of Sam's life. And you only get to say one thing, and that is spend more time with who?
Grandpa.
Okay. And why is that? Besides the obvious reason he's your grandpa.
So, my grandfather was born and raised in Puerto Rico and came to New York in his early 20s and literally came here with absolutely nothing. And I think his first meal was like a cookie that somebody had discarded. And talk about like literally having nothing to your name. So from that, he just had this drive and determination that he wasn't going to let anything stop him, right? So he started doing construction, and from construction, he got into, he was a superintendent for a bunch of buildings, like where I grew up. And from there, he became an entrepreneur. He owned a taco stand that he used to sell tacos on the beach, like in a little cart, like a push cart thing.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Dude, I'm painting that picture in my mind.
I'm hungry now.
He graduated from like a push cart taco stand to a hot dog truck. And his first hot dog truck was very basic. It was just hot dogs. That was it. Like you had your toppings, sodas, that kind of stuff. He did very well and invested in another hot dog truck, and he was able to have hot dogs and like these hot sausage things. And then he leveled up again, and he started having like knishes and candy and chips and all of these things. And he was able to work for himself. He owned a home that he built with my father and his other siblings. Like they literally wheelbarrowed in the cement to build the foundation of the house that I grew up in. And like, that's the kind of spirit that I try to emulate, like that nothing is ever going to stop me because I have his blood running through my veins, and I will not at any point in my life like dishonor that.
That's awesome.
That's pretty sick. I like that.
All right, Trevor, same question.
My granddad. It's gonna be my granddad. You want to talk about old school cowboy? It was that man. I've got pictures of of where I'm in his boots and they're up to my thighs, right? I'm so small. And whenever we'd visit, wherever he went, I went, checking, feeding the cattle, going out into the range and the corral, branding, you name it. I was there. I wanted to be there. I wanted to be that man. I'm gonna tell you right now, I still want to be that man at 42. Still want to be him.
So do
You
it.
Hey, working on it. I got to work on my roping skills though. But he was larger than life, right? And every time I swear to God, every time I visited him, he got bigger to me. And he just lived. He just lived. I don't know how we all should live. He was just such a good man, full of integrity, full of honesty, just hardworking. And I can remember several different stories. And I shared one, just walking out to doing chores with him. When he was like, you don't need your terrific Trevor cape. All you need is those boots that are on, that aren't your feet. And let's get to work, son.
Yeah.
And if I could spend, more time with that man, John and Samantha, I tell you what, I'd be one happy camper.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So if we have some time, I want to come back to Terrific Trevor for those who don't know who that is. So this one I saw Jeremiah just posted vulnerability is a superpower. And so this question is going to hit your superpower just a little bit. 70-year-old you pops into your life today. Sam, this is for you. And he says, stop this one thing right now. What is that one vice that you have right now that you know you shouldn't be doing?
Doubting myself.
That's a powerful one.
Yeah. So part of my trauma, it was I was gaslit into believing that I was worthless, that I didn't have any value, and why bother? You're just gonna fail and you're not worth anything. And I carried that. I carried it for a very long time, and I put on a mask, and everybody thought that I was fine and happy and like Sam's okay. But I wasn't. And I worked on it, and I worked on it, and I worked on it, and I worked on it. And I'm finally not in that place anymore. I love my life, an incredible life. But there's like that thing that keeps talking, right? Anytime that I try something new, or anytime that I'm ready to share part of my story, or anytime that I do one of my Crank Up the Leadership shows, or an event like this, or anything, it's always like, well, are people going to show up? What are they going to think? Am I capable of doing this? And it's not even my voice that I hear, right? It's that other person. It's that other person still telling me 20 years later that I'm not good enough. And I, in turn, doubt myself. And I need to stop. I'm actively working on it. But yeah, I would definitely get scolded for doubting myself.
Sam, that's really powerful. And just so that everyone knows, I had no idea that was going to be the answer. But I every single day, someone tells me a story like that, and it goes along with imposter syndrome. I think they're different. I think that doubting yourself and imposter syndrome are two different things, but they're similar.
Mm-hmm.
And I've written about this before, and I asked the question, what do you think we could accomplish today if every human on Earth woke up and believed in themselves?
Oh man, brother.
Everything.
Yeah. All right. So, Trevor, same question to you. 70-year-old you pops into your life right now and says, Trevor, stop this thing right now.
Stop doubting others.
Ooh.
Yeah, stop doubting others. Stop doubting that other people actually have your back, that your inner circle could get bigger. Stop shutting stop shutting people out that are trying to help you, they're saying, hey, I'm here, I got you, I'm gonna help, and open your arms to the fact that they're genuine. For a lot of my life, man, you could you count my inner circle on one hand, and so we get to 4.5, right? So I mean, it's pretty small. So yeah, stop doubting others. Let people win.
I love that.
Yeah, that's really powerful because I'm on this new kick, and a friend of mine invited me to do his podcast a couple weeks ago, and in doing that, I prepared by reading his book first, and in the book he talks about assuming positive intent.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of ties into what you're talking about there, Trevor. And here's the thing, if you did not experience some type of trauma in your life, and I have not yet met one person who doesn't have something, it's hard. Depending on how you process that, it is really, really hard to let people back in, to trust people. And so, Trevor, I hear where you're coming from. And somebody told me once about 20 years ago, you're a very suspicious person. And I, of course, heard,
Hey,
like, what do you suspect of me? And but what they meant was you don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
And I adopted that for a while as kind of my mantra of I don't trust anybody, and I'm constantly going to be asking more questions. But I tell you what, when you assume positive intent, life gets so much better. If you can walk into a situation and you can say, doesn't matter. Yeah, and it was interesting. Yeah, I overheard a conversation the other day where somebody was saying, nothing you have I want. I love my life. So I wasn't paying attention to the comments. Where did I miss there, Sam?
I'm focused on, I think Nick Corbin is cool enough to agree that hot dogs are tacos. I'm sorry, John. I can't. I'm like, John's being serious.
We are not going there, Beth. We are not.
We're
not debating.
So
I had a debate about hot dogs are sandwiches. Period. Beth thinks they're tacos.
There could be positive intent in that statement.
Yeah, I could argue both points, really, now that you've mentioned it that way. I've never thought about it like that, but yeah. So
anyway, John, back to you.
That's a fun moment when you're like, you're heading down this path, and I look up and you're both giggling so hard you're crying.
I feel like a failure right now, John. Anyway.
Thank you, Ruth. I appreciate that. I was on point. Anyway, it wouldn't be the first time. I did say earlier I've got ADHD pretty bad, and now I'm craving a hot dog, and we don't have hot dogs in the house. So
you can have a taco.
Yeah. Okay, so I switching gears a little bit, and I think we do have a little bit of time left. Trevor, you mentioned terrific Trevor earlier. You mentioned the Cape. Would you mind sharing that story with us?
No, not at all. So, when I was little, probably, I don't know, about 5 or 6 years old, I had a cape gifted to me. It was a red cape, and it had a crooked T stitched on the back. And I would, I'd have little Velcro straps I'd strap around my neck, and I would go flying. I would just go flying wherever. I zoom around the house, jumping up on the couch, jumping off the couch, going to the back out in the fort where I can meet the rest of the Justice League, right? Zooming in and out of the trees. Man, you couldn't keep me still. I was free. I was, I don't know, I was a superhero. I was unstoppable, right? I literally, I thought I was Superman. So terrific Trevor. Yeah, that was me. So obviously life happens, right? And we start to it's sad actually. We start to experience life and what we call reality in the real world. And as we get older, we start to lose that absolute belief that we can be a superhero, right? That when we were kids, right? I can do anything I want. I can fly if I want to. Watch me jump off this swing. I'm gonna break a leg doing it, but I flew for a little bit. I know you saw it, right? So as we get older, that starts to diminish. And through these posts, I wanted to bring it back because I can remember feeling so powerful. And then as I got older and I got into comic books and I started to identify with the superheroes, especially as it related to bullying, I was like, man, I want to be terrific Trevor. I want to keep that intact. That part that keeps me safe. I feel safe and secure through terrific Trevor. Some of the happiest memories I have as a childhood are with that cape and flying around. And in some of my earlier posts on LinkedIn, when I talk about the pirate crew, and y'all know who you are, right? I talk about one of the captain wearing an old red faded sash around his waist with a crooked T stitched in there. That's never going to leave me. That terrific Trevor, that little kid inside, man, I love me some superheroes. Always will.
That's awesome. So I remember when Trevor first shared, and there was some artwork that went along with it. And for some reason, it spurred a memory I had. I shared this with you. I remember it might have been actually public on LinkedIn too. There is a picture of me in 1980, I believe.
Yeah.
I got the Superman underwear set for my birthday.
Yeah.
And had no shame. And I put it on and I did the dance. And there was photographic evidence of it. So it was funny. Yeah. So cool. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate that. And Sam, I do want to say for your tribe, I do appreciate the comments. I didn't want them to think I was calling them out. We did not intend for this to be a serious chat.
Not at all.
We set into this saying we're going to tell some serious stuff, but we're telling the serious stuff for a reason.
Yeah.
Because we want to motivate other people to just ditch it, let it go, and let's move on together. Let's say the past is the past. The past happened. It doesn't have to be a part of our story. It is a part of what defined us, and it's a part of what pushes us forward. No. Oh, I see. Kristen's asking for Jeremiah to provide some photographic evidence. Okay. Thank you, Kristen. I am not providing it.
Kristen, I might be able to help.
So, yeah, this has been fantastic. Samantha, I really appreciate you being the mastermind behind this. So,
Amen.
I tried to convince these guys to do a recorded call that we could control everything and put out there. And Sam literally called me a chicken. And
I was like, what, are we not going to do this live?
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, but it's been a blast. I think Trevor and I have learned a lot. We have clicked on a lot of the wrong buttons.
So many.
And I will tell you that if you ever get a chance to do a live show with Samantha, she is the person to learn it from because she's super patient with you. She really should have been a kindergarten teacher because
for sure.
That's literally how Trevor and I were when it came to teaching us this. So
yeah. I'm like, Samantha, hey, I deleted it. Can you get me back in?
Whoops. No worries.
And lucky for us,
I believe that in order for me to become a better host of these things and to be able to do lives and not have any issues, I need to learn all the nuances that things can break. So when you broke it, Trevor, I was like, yes, this doesn't work.
Like, oh God.
And he was like, I feel so. I'm like, no, that makes me feel great.
I'm like, I'm never getting invited again.
No.
He's like, wait, so I don't double click on that?
Because I did.
Yeah,
awesome.
I believe in failing fast, and I think that, we got together because we were like, how do we get our energy all together, and how do we talk about things? And I think that we all have experienced something, right? Every single one of us
Preach.
have experienced something in our life that makes something go off in our head to say whatever, right? You've been
Yeah.
bullied, you hung up your superhero cape, whatever the case may be. And Trevor, I said it the other day when we were having like just a get together and a coffee chat. We kind of have this invincibility factor when we're kids, right? We believe that we could do
So
whatever we
much.
want. We're superheroes and we can do this and we can do that. And then we grow into fixed mindsets that
Oh,
say,
amen.
we can't do this because we're an adult. We can't do that
Yeah.
because we're an adult. Like, when was the last time you had fun? Like, I jumped in puddles the other day because
Right now.
it was like right now. But like, I challenge like everybody out there today who came and hung out with us, like, whatever that voice in your head is telling you, whatever it's, making you not want to do or say that you're not capable of doing it, just do it. Like,
Oh, for sure.
take a step. And if you fail, fine. Pick yourself back up and do it again.
Yeah.
Because failure after failure after failure gives you strength and grit and determination, because I can do whatever I put my mind to. I just need to put my mind to it.
Absolutely. And I'm to piggyback off that. Ali said this, right? When you get knocked down, getting knocked down doesn't mean that you've lost. It doesn't mean that you've been beat. It's when you stay down. You stay down, you've been beat. No. You get back up. And for anybody, for everyone that's here, like, much love. And I want to leave, I want to say this. Imagine the next time you're going out of your house, look to the right or the left, wherever you hang your coats at. And on one of those hooks, I want you to imagine your cape or crown or whatever it is that you want to identify with. Imagine that. And the next time you walk out with your family or just yourself, maybe you're a lone wolf, put that cape on in here and see what that does. Maybe put a little pep in your step. I bet you it does.
I love that. Awesome. So, Sam, I think there was some reference there to a crown in the comments.
Oh, my carousel crown. I had to give it up.
Okay, so I think that's where Trevor was going with that. So,
so I started a war because I will not back down. It doesn't happen. One of my friends,
Give no quarter. Good for you.
yeah, he made a carousel, and I was like, wow, this is really nice. I need to step up my game. He gift back. Oh. I was like, it is on. And then we carousel warred for quite a bit. And then Yasmin Alik hit the scene and started doing carousels, and I had to take it off.
So,
but Beth didn't get it, and neither did Logan. Nah.
So, Sam, are these on your profile, on your activity?
Yeah, actually, you could just hashtag Carousel Wars, and you'll see all of the carousels that myself, Logan Langan, and Elizabeth Grace did for the Carousel War thing. It's fun.
Cool. So, if for those of you who don't know about how you can use LinkedIn, if you go to Sam's profile, scroll down just a little bit, you'll see her activity, and you can click on see all activity, and then you can go and you can just scroll at some of the work that Sam has out there. I would encourage you to do the same thing to Trevor. I'd be careful. Don't have too much caffeine before you go and read some of Trevor's stuff. He really he gets into it. So anyway, I'm inspired by both of you. I am so grateful that you guys agreed to do this. And I need everybody to know these two folks really didn't know who I was when I was like, hey, let's jump on this. They just knew that I was some dude on LinkedIn who shared weird memes. So,
and good quotes.
And damn good quotes.
I do agree. The quotes are pretty good. So they're not mine, but they're pretty good. I
But
steal
your
them from.
insight and additional comments on them are.
I appreciate that. So thank you very much again. Very grateful to have experienced this for the first time, and I feel bad for whoever I do a live with next time, Sam, because they're gonna have to step up.
Way up.
Yeah,
Do it. Level up. Crank it.
cool. All right, so Sam, the one thing that you didn't teach us was how to end a live event.
So, I just want to thank everybody. Thank you, John, for having this conversation with us. Your questions were absolutely incredible.
For sure.
When I was like trying to figure out my answers to them, I was like, these are really good.
Yeah.
Made me really think about, going back in the past and how I would be in the future. So thank you for those thought-provoking
Yes.
questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Trevor, thank you for sharing your story and reminding everybody that they can wear their cape too. Like, just because you don't have one physically, I mean, if you don't, go buy one if you want one. But wear it, own it, be whoever you want to be, because at the end of the
For
day,
sure.
you only have one life. So you might as well live it.
Hey, every damn day.
So if you guys want to connect with us, my name is Samantha Sierra. We have Trevor Martin, John Doolin.
Doolin. Yep.
Doolin.
So you thought we were
Uh,
kidding. We really don't know each other.
Make friends, meet your freaking people.
Yeah.
And with that, thank you all for coming and spending time with us this evening. I know I had a blast. These
Oh,
comments have been hilarious. We've been trying to keep straight faces.
failing.
And just remember that you're the person in charge of your own destiny, and you're the person who can lead your life to wherever you want it to be. So grab the wheel,
Preach.
drive.
Awesome.
Later, guys.
Thank you. See ya.
See ya.